What is a personal guarantee, and when would you as an investor want to require it? So basically, a personal guarantee is a document whereby an individual agrees to be personally responsible for the debts and obligations of an entity. So, as an investor, you may want to require a personal guarantee in a couple of situations. One is if you are providing some type of private money financing, um, some form of investment into a project. You're providing a loan, either a bridge loan, an earnest money deposit loan, or some other type of funding for another investor or company to perform, uh, build out a project, buy property, whatever the case may be. You're going to provide that to them so that they can, go about their business. You may want a personal guarantee if the borrower is going to be an entity, because if a borrower is an entity, normally if the investor has structured things right, it would be a single asset entity formed for just that particular property, that particular project. And you want to make sure, though, that there's other assets on the hook. There's the individuals are on the hook if things go awry and you're not being paid as a lender. So in that case, you want a personal guarantee. The second scenario where you may want a personal guarantee is if you own real estate as an investor and you are going to sell that real estate to an entity who's going to be the buyer, and you're going to do it on some form of seller carryback financing. So you are going to then become the lender on that property. So you're going to sell it and you're going to expect that the buyer, who is an entity, is going to make payments to you over time. In that case, you want to have a personal guarantee in place, or you may want to have a personal guarantee whereby the owners of the entity are going to say, hey, if something happens and this entity can't pay, then we personally will step up and be responsible. A couple of things, though, to consider before you go down the personal guarantee route. First is you need to be aware of community property implications. So here in Arizona, a personal guarantee is not enforceable against community assets, so a married couple's community assets, unless both spouses sign that guarantee. So I've seen over the years of practicing law guarantees that my clients or others are trying to enforce, and I look at the guarantee and it only has one spouse's signature on it, and the other spouse didn't sign. And in that case, unless the spouse signing it has tons of sole and separate property, which is rarely the case, the guarantee really wasn't even worth the paper it was written on, because all the assets of that married couple are held as community property. So you need to make sure, at least here in Arizona and other community property states, that both spouses sign the guarantee. The second thing that you need to consider when you're dealing with residential real estate, at least here in Arizona, is that if you're going to be the seller carryback lender, so you're gonna provide seller carryback financing. In Arizona, we have anti-deficiency statutes, and those anti-deficiency statutes basically say that when a borrower is obtaining financing, whether from the seller or a third party, to purchase property, that they generally never have any type of the borrower never has liability outside of the property. So the lender's only remedy is to pursue a foreclosure of the property, but the lender cannot go after the borrower's other assets to recover the loan balance. Well, things are different if the entity is buying it and you require a personal guarantee. In that case, if you put in the personal guarantee that the guarantors are waiving their rights under Arizona's anti-deficiency statutes, and that they will not be subject, and the guarantee will not be subject to those anti-deficiency statutes, the law actually allows that guarantee to withstand the anti-deficiency statutes. So even though you cannot go against the borrower for a deficiency judgment, you can, and it opens the door to go against the guarantors for the deficiency judgment. So it's something to consider here in Arizona, making sure that if you are going to do a personal guarantee where you're doing, some type of seller carryback financing, that you are putting in the guarantee language that the guarantors are waiving their rights under Arizona's anti-deficiency statutes. So a personal guarantee, once again, just to summarize, is a document whereby individuals agree to be responsible for the debts and obligations of an entity. And second, you would want to use them if you are providing any type of financing, or if you are selling real estate whereby you are providing carryback financing.